It was a quiet afternoon in the heart of the city. The streets were busy with people going about their daily lives, some rushing to work, others walking slowly, enjoying the warm sunlight. Among these streets was a small, cozy cafe, tucked between tall buildings. The cafe was famous for its warm atmosphere, fresh coffee, and homemade pastries. People loved coming here not only for the food, but also because it felt like a little home away from home. Inside the cafe, the air was filled with the rich smell of roasted coffee beans and the soft chatter of customers. The walls were decorated with old photographs and colorful paintings, making the place feel welcoming. In one corner, there was an old piano. It wasn't new or shiny, but it added charm to the place. Sometimes a few people would play it quietly, in the evenings, filling the room with music. Behind the counter was a young woman named Emily. She worked as a waitress at the cafe. Emily was in her early 20s, with kind eyes and a gentle smile that made everyone feel comfortable. She had been working at the cafe for a few years now. Although her job was busy and sometimes tiring, Emily loved the atmosphere and the people she met every day. She knew many regular customers by name and always tried to make their visit special. Emily's life outside the cafe was not easy. She came from a small town and moved to the city to find work and support her family. Music had always been a part of her life. When she was a child, she learned to play the piano. She practiced every day and dreamed of becoming a professional pianist. But life had other plans. Her family needed her, and she had to take up jobs to help make ends meet. The piano was left behind, and for years Emily did not play a single note. On this particular day, the cafe was busier than usual. The lunchtime crowd filled every table, and the sound of plates, cups, and friendly voices made the place lively. Emily was moving quickly between tables, taking orders, serving food, and making sure everyone was happy. She smiled and joked with customers, her energy never seeming to fade. Suddenly, the cafe door opened, and a man walked in. He was dressed in a sharp suit, and his confident step showed he was used to being in control. People noticed him immediately, because he looked different from the usual customers. He wasn't just any man. He was a millionaire businessman known in the city for his success and bold ideas. He often visited places like this when he wanted a quiet moment away from his busy life. The man, whose name was Mr. Thompson, sat down at a table near the piano. He looked around the cafe, observing everything with a curious eye. As Emily approached to take his order, he greeted her with a polite smile. They exchanged a few words, and Emily quickly learned that Mr. Thompson was interested in more than just food and coffee today. While Emily was serving other customers, she overheard a conversation nearby. Someone asked her if she still played the piano. Emily's face showed a flicker of surprise and sadness. She hadn't told many people about her past with music. She quietly said that she used to play when she was younger but hadn't done so in a long time. The words came out softly, almost as if she was talking about a distant memory. Mr. Thompson, listening to this, smiled to himself. He had always believed that people have hidden talents and stories waiting to be discovered. Feeling a bit playful and intrigued, he decided to make a challenge. He called Emily over and said, "Why don't you try playing the piano for us? Just a little something. It's been a long time, but sometimes talent never truly leaves us." The cafe grew quiet. The customers stopped their conversations and turned their attention to the interaction. They were curious to see what would happen next. Emily looked at the old piano, then back at Mr. Thompson. She felt nervous and unsure. Could she really play after so many years? What if she forgot everything? What if people laughed? But the challenge was in the air now, and everyone wanted to see what Emily would do. She took a deep breath, feeling a mix of fear and excitement. Slowly, she walked to the piano and sat down on the worn wooden bench. Her hands hovered over the keys, trembling slightly. The room waited in silence, holding its breath. Mr. Thompson watched with interest. He saw something in Emily's eyes, a spark that told him this was more than just a casual challenge. It was a moment where something beautiful could happen, something unexpected. Emily's fingers touched the keys gently, unsure at first. She remembered the feeling of the piano beneath her hands, the way the keys moved when pressed. Slowly, she began to play a few simple notes, and then a melody started to form. The sound was soft and sweet, like a long-forgotten song waking up after years of silence. The customers listened in surprise. This wasn't just a few random notes. It was music full of emotion and life. The cafe, once noisy and busy, was now filled with the sound of the piano. It was a moment that made time seem to slow down. As Emily played, her nervousness began to disappear. She lost herself in the music, and for a few minutes, the worries of life vanished. The melody told a story of dreams, struggles, and hope. It was a story that everyone in the room could feel. When the last note faded away, the room stayed quiet for a moment. Then, one by one, people started to clap. The applause grew louder and warmer, filling the cafe with joy. Mr. Thompson smiled, proud that he had given Emily the chance to show her talent again. That afternoon, something changed in the little cafe. It was not just about coffee or food anymore. It was about dreams rediscovered, about courage to try again, and about the power of music to touch hearts. Emily sat back, her heart full of hope and gratitude. She knew this moment was just the beginning of a new journey. The Millionaire's playful challenge had opened a door, and she was ready to step through it. After the beautiful melody had filled the cafe, the room was buzzing with excitement. Everyone who had been there, customers, baristas, and even the other waitresses, could hardly believe what they had just heard. The young waitress, Emily, who was usually busy taking orders and serving coffee, had surprised them all with her piano playing. But now, the question was, would she play again? Would she dare to keep going? Emily sat quietly on the piano bench, her hands resting lightly on her lap. Inside, she felt a whirlwind of emotions. Part of her wanted to run away, to hide from all the attention. She wasn't used to being the center of a crowd, and suddenly everyone's eyes were on her. The shy girl who had spent years hiding her music was now the focus of the entire cafe. But there was also a spark inside her, a tiny flame that was growing stronger. She felt a pull. Something deep inside her wanted to play more, to show everyone what she could do. This was more than just a challenge from a millionaire or a moment of surprise. This was her chance to connect with people in a way she hadn't done for a long time. At first, Emily's fingers hovered over the piano keys, unsure where to begin. She remembered the scales and songs she used to practice as a child, but her hands felt heavy and unsteady. She took a deep breath and tried a few notes, soft and hesitant. The music was not perfect, but it was real. It was her. The crowd around her began to lean in, their faces filled with curiosity and encouragement. Some customers whispered to each other, amazed that a simple waitress could have such a hidden talent. The baristas paused their work, quietly watching, while the regular customers smiled and waited eagerly for what would come next. Emily looked up briefly and caught Mr. Thompson's eye. He gave her a gentle nod and an encouraging smile. That small gesture gave her a little more courage. She realized she wasn't alone in this moment. There were people who believed in her, even if she didn't fully believe in herself yet. Slowly, Emily began to play again, this time with a little more confidence. Her fingers moved across the keys, producing a melody that was soft and gentle. At first, it was like telling a story of the days she spent learning piano, of the dreams she had almost forgotten, and of the hopes she still carried in her heart. As she played, the music grew stronger. She added more emotion, letting her feelings flow through her hands. The notes became louder, more powerful, and filled the cafe with warmth and beauty. People stopped talking, and the only sound was the piano and the beating of hearts listening closely. Emily's music wasn't just about the notes she played. It was about her life, her struggles, her dreams, and her courage to face the world every day. The melody told a story of someone who had been through hard times but never gave up. It was a story that touched everyone who heard it. The customers were amazed. Many of them had never heard Emily speak much, but now they saw her in a new light. She wasn't just the friendly waitress who brought their coffee. She was an artist, a person with a deep soul and a talent that could move people. Some of the older customers had tears in their eyes. They remembered their own dreams and struggles, and Emily's music reminded them that it's never too late to follow your heart. Others whispered words of praise, quietly thanking her for sharing such a beautiful moment. Meanwhile, Emily's confidence grew with every note. She felt like she was no longer the shy girl hiding behind the counter. She was a pianist again, doing what she loved most. The old piano seemed to come alive beneath her fingers, as if it had been waiting all this time for her to return. Time seemed to stop in the cafe. The busy city outside, the noise of traffic and footsteps, faded away. Inside, there was only the music and the connection between Emily and the listeners. It was a magical moment that no one wanted to end. When she finally finished playing, the room erupted in applause. People stood up and clapped, cheering for the young woman who had turned an ordinary afternoon into something extraordinary. Emily smiled shyly, feeling a mix of happiness and relief. Mr. Thompson stood and walked over to her. He looked her in the eyes and said, "You have a gift, Emily. Don't hide it. The world needs to hear your music." His words were kind but firm, like a promise and a challenge at the same time. Emily's heart raced. She didn't know what the future would hold, but in that moment, she felt hope. For the first time in years, she thought maybe she could follow her dreams again. Maybe music could be more than just a memory. The cafe returned to its usual rhythm, but something had changed. People talked excitedly about the music they had heard. New customers came in asking if the pianist would play again. The owner of the cafe, who had been watching from the side, approached Emily and offered her the chance to play on special evenings. Emily felt a new sense of purpose. The piano was no longer just a piece of furniture in the cafe. It was a bridge to a new life, a way to share her story and connect with others. She promised herself she would practice and play more often. That evening, as Emily closed the cafe and walked home, her mind was full of dreams. She thought about the people who had listened to her music, about the millionaire who had believed in her, and about the possibilities ahead. She knew it wouldn't be easy. She still had responsibilities and challenges to face, but the music had reminded her who she really was. A person with talent, courage, and a story worth telling. The next days and weeks were full of changes. Emily found time to practice piano, whenever she could, sometimes late at night after work. She started to remember old songs and even tried to create new melodies. The piano in the cafe became her favorite place, a source of joy and strength. Word spread about the waitress who could play piano like a professional. People came to the cafe just to hear her music. Emily began to feel more confident in herself. She wasn't just serving coffee anymore, she was sharing her heart through music. The challenge from the millionaire had opened a door, but Emily was the one who had stepped through it. She realized that sometimes all it takes is a little encouragement and a moment of courage to change your life. Her story became an inspiration for many people, reminding them that hidden talents can be discovered at any time, that dreams can come true if you believe, and that music has the power to heal and bring people together. Emily's journey was just beginning, but she was ready. With every note she played, she was writing a new chapter in her life, a chapter full of hope, courage, and endless possibilities. The moment Emily's fingers touched the piano keys, something magical began to happen. It was as if a hidden world inside her suddenly woke up, filling the room with beautiful sounds. The first notes were soft, almost shy, but quickly grew into a powerful melody that held the attention of everyone in the cafe. People stopped what they were doing and turned to listen. conversations faded away, and all eyes were on the young waitress at the piano. Emily's music was unlike anything the crowd had expected. They thought she might play something simple or nervous, but what came out of her was full of feeling, skill, and passion. The melody seemed to tell a story, even though no words were spoken. It spoke of joy and sadness, hope and struggle. Every note carried a piece of Emily's heart. As she played, Emily forgot about the busy cafe, the curious crowd, and even the millionaire who had challenged her. She was lost in the music, letting her fingers move freely over the keys. The piano became an extension of herself, and through it, she shared her deepest feelings. The people watching were mesmerized. Some closed their eyes, letting the music wash over them like a gentle wave. Others looked at Emily in awe, realizing they had witnessed a rare and beautiful talent. The atmosphere in the cafe changed completely. It was no longer just a place to eat and drink. It had become a concert hall filled with emotion. Mr. Thompson, the millionaire, watched with a proud smile. He had known from the moment he saw Emily that she was special, but hearing her play was something else entirely. It was clear that she had spent years practicing and dreaming, and now all of that was coming alive again. Emily's performance wasn't just about technical skill. It was about the story behind the music. Her story. She had faced many challenges in life, from moving to the city to working hard every day just to make ends meet. Music had been her secret hope, a dream she almost gave up. But now, playing the piano again, she felt that hope growing stronger. The crowd was silent, hanging on every note. Some people wiped tears from their eyes, moved by the beauty and emotion of the music. Others exchanged glances, surprised by how deeply they were touched. Emily's playing created a connection between everyone in the room, a shared experience that made them feel closer to each other. As the song reached its climax, Emily's fingers flew over the keys with confidence and grace. The music soared, filling every corner of the cafe with energy and light. The final notes were soft and slow, fading gently into silence. When the last note faded away, the cafe stayed quiet for a moment. The listeners were so moved they did not want to break the spell. Then, slowly, applause began to grow, starting as a few claps and building into a loud cheer. People stood up, clapping and cheering for the young woman who had surprised them all. Emily smiled, feeling a warmth inside her that she hadn't known in a long time. The applause was more than just praise for her talent. It was a sign that her music had touched people's hearts. She realized that playing the piano again was not just about showing skill, it was about sharing a part of herself with the world. After the applause, Mr. Thompson approached Emily and spoke with genuine admiration. He told her that her talent was rare and beautiful, and that she should never stop playing. He offered her support and opportunities to follow her dreams. Emily listened carefully, her heart pounding with hope and excitement. The experience changed Emily's life. She began to believe in herself again. For years, she had hidden her talent, thinking it was just a dream too big for her to reach. But now she saw that with courage and support, anything was possible. In the days that followed, Emily practiced the piano more often. The cafe owner invited her to play for special events, and people came specifically to hear her music. Her confidence grew, and she started to think about what the future might hold. Emily's story spread beyond the cafe. Local newspapers wrote about the waitress who had surprised a millionaire with her incredible piano playing. She was invited to perform at charity events and small concerts. Each time she played, she felt more alive and free. But Emily never forgot the moment when she first sat at the piano after so many years. That moment had changed everything. It reminded her that talents and dreams don't disappear. They just wait for the right time to shine again. The music had given her a new voice, a way to express what words could not. It connected her to people and to herself in a deeper way. Emily knew her journey was just beginning, and she was ready to face whatever challenges came next. Her story became an inspiration for many. It showed that no matter how hard life gets, there is always a chance to rediscover what makes you special. Sometimes all it takes is one moment, one note, to change everything. After the young waitress Emily finished playing that beautiful and moving piece on the piano, the entire cafe was filled with applause. The sound echoed off the walls and reached every corner of the room. For Emily, it was more than just clapping and cheering. It was the moment she realized something important was changing in her life. Before this day, Emily had lived a quiet life. She worked hard as a waitress, serving coffee and food to customers, often feeling tired and overwhelmed by the demands of her job. Music had always been a secret part of her life, something she loved but had to put aside for many years. Playing. The piano was a dream she kept hidden, believing it was something from her past, something she might never return to. But now, everything was different. The applause was a clear sign that people saw her for more than just a waitress. They saw the talent she had kept inside, waiting to be shared. And among the crowd was Mr. Thompson, the millionaire who had challenged her to play in the first place. He approached Emily with a serious but kind expression. Mr. Thompson wasn't just impressed by Emily's music. He saw something special in her, a story of hard work, courage, and hidden potential. He knew that talent alone wasn't enough. It needed support, encouragement, and sometimes a chance to grow. So he decided to offer Emily a unique opportunity. He told her that he wanted to help her follow her dreams. He could provide resources for music lessons, help her connect with teachers, or even introduce her to people in the music world who could guide her. His offer was generous and unexpected, but Emily could feel the sincerity behind his words. For the first time, someone believed in her in a way that felt real. Emily was overwhelmed by the offer. She wasn't sure if she was ready to accept such help or if she even deserved it. Doubts filled her mind. Had she really been good enough? Would she be able to handle the pressure of pursuing music again? But as she looked around the cafe, at the smiling faces of people who had just listened to her music, she felt a new strength growing inside her. She said yes. This was a turning point. Mr. Thompson's support was not just about money or lessons. It was about opening doors that had seemed closed for a long time. He promised to be there for her, offering guidance and encouragement whenever she needed it. With this new support, Emily's life began to change in small but meaningful ways. She started taking piano lessons again, working with teachers who helped her improve her technique and build her confidence. Every day she practiced for hours, sometimes late into the night after finishing her work at the cafe. It was tiring, but she loved every moment of it. Her music became stronger and more expressive. She learned new pieces, experimented with different styles, and even started composing her own songs. The piano was no longer just an old instrument in the corner of the cafe. It had become her voice, her way of telling her story to the world. Emily's friends and co-workers noticed the change in her. She seemed happier, more focused, and full of energy. Her smile was brighter, and her eyes held a new light. The cafe owner invited her to perform during special events, and the customers began coming specifically to hear her play. Word spread beyond the cafe. Local newspapers wrote about the waitress who had discovered her musical talent in front of a millionaire. Radio stations invited her for interviews, and people in the community started to support her journey. Emily was surprised by how many people wanted to help and encourage her. But it wasn't always easy. Pursuing music meant balancing many responsibilities. Working at the cafe to pay bills, attending lessons, practicing, and trying to keep up with the demands of everyday life. There were days when Emily felt exhausted and doubted herself. Sometimes old fears and insecurities returned, whispering that she wasn't good enough or that she should give up. Each time these doubts came, Emily remembered the applause in the cafe, Mr. Thompson's words of encouragement, and the feeling of joy she had when playing the piano. She used these memories as fuel to keep going. Slowly but surely, she built her confidence and skills. One of the most important moments during this time was when Emily was invited to perform at a local charity event. It was a small concert in a community hall, but for Emily, it felt huge. She was nervous but excited to share her music with a larger audience. As she played that night, Emily felt the same magic she had felt the first time in the cafe. The music flowed from her heart to the audience, creating a connection that touched everyone. After the performance, people came to congratulate her, and she realized that this was just the beginning of something wonderful. Mr. Thompson was there too, watching proudly. He reminded her that success takes time and patience, but with dedication and support, she could achieve great things. Emily listened carefully, knowing that the road ahead would have challenges, but also great rewards. Throughout this journey, Emily never forgot where she came from. She continued working at the cafe, serving customers with kindness and grace. But now, her work had a new meaning. She was no longer just a waitress. She was a musician in training, chasing her dreams. Her story inspired many people around her. Customers at the cafe began sharing their own dreams and challenges with her, feeling encouraged by her courage to try again. Emily became a symbol of hope, that no matter where you start or how difficult life gets, it's never too late to follow your passion. As months passed, Emily's music career slowly began to take shape. She started receiving invitations to perform at small venues and community events. Each opportunity helped her grow as an artist and as a person. She learned to face her fears, overcome obstacles, and believe in herself. One day, Mr. Thompson surprised her with a special gift, a scholarship to attend a prestigious music school. It was a dream come true. With tears in her eyes, Emily accepted the scholarship, knowing that it would open even more doors for her future. The scholarship was not just financial help. It was a symbol of trust and belief in her potential. Emily was determined to make the most of it. She threw herself into her studies, learning new techniques, theory, and performance skills. Every day was a challenge, but also an adventure. At the music school, Emily met other talented musicians who shared her passion. They inspired each other, practiced together, and formed friendships that would last a lifetime. For the first time, Emily felt like she belonged in the world of music. Her journey was not just about becoming a better pianist. It was about discovering who she was and what she wanted from life. The music helped her heal from past struggles and gave her the strength to dream bigger than ever before. Even though her life was changing quickly, Emily stayed humble and grateful. She remembered the little cafe where it all began, the moment when a Millionaire's challenge pushed her to play again, and the people who believed in her. Her story became a reminder to everyone that sometimes life gives us unexpected chances. We just need to be brave enough to take them. Emily's future was still uncertain, but she was ready. With every note she played, she was writing a new story, one full of hope, courage, and endless possibilities. Emily's life had changed in ways she never imagined. From the shy waitress who quietly served coffee in a small cafe, she had become a young woman filled with hope, confidence, and a deep love for music. The journey had not been easy, but every step had brought her closer to her dreams. The years after her first performance in the cafe were full of challenges, hard work, and beautiful moments. Emily had faced many obstacles along the way, but she never gave up. With the support of Mr. Thompson, her teachers, and new friends from the music school, she kept moving forward, one note at a time. Her story had become an inspiration to many people, not just because she was talented, but because she showed what courage and determination could do. People who heard about her journey saw that no matter where you start in life, it's possible to change your path and follow your passion. Emily's music career was growing steadily. She played at more concerts and events, slowly building a name for herself in the music community. Each performance was an opportunity to share her story and touch the hearts of others. She found joy in the connection music created between her and the audience. One of the most important lessons Emily learned was that success was not just about fame or money. It was about the joy of playing music, the friendships she made, and the lives she touched. She remembered the first time she played in the cafe, the nervousness, the surprise, and the applause, and how that moment had changed everything. As she continued her journey, Emily realized that music was more than just a career. It was her purpose. It gave her strength when life was hard, hope when things seemed impossible, and happiness that filled her heart. Emily also gave back to her community. She started teaching piano lessons to children and teenagers who couldn't afford formal lessons. She wanted to share the gift of music with others and help them discover their own talents. Teaching brought her new joy and deepened her love for music. Through teaching, Emily met many young people with big dreams but few resources. She encouraged them to believe in themselves and work hard, just as she had learned. Seeing their progress reminded her of her own journey and the power of kindness and support. In addition to teaching, Emily worked with local charities to organize music events that raised money for important causes. She used her growing fame to bring attention to those in need, proving that music could make a difference beyond the stage. Her story continued to inspire others, and she became a speaker at schools and community centers. Emily shared her experiences openly, telling people about the challenges she faced and how she overcame them. Her honesty and humility touched many hearts. Despite her busy schedule, Emily always made time for her family and friends. They had supported her from the beginning, even when she doubted herself. Their love and encouragement were the foundation that kept her strong. Looking back, Emily realized how much she had grown. The shy girl who once hid her music was now a confident artist, who embraced her talent and shared it proudly. She knew the journey was never truly over. There would always be new challenges and opportunities, but she was ready for whatever came next. Emily dreamed of recording her own album one day, of composing music that told stories of hope and courage. Just like her own. She wanted to travel, perform on bigger stages, and continue inspiring people around the world. But no matter how far she went, she would never forget the cafe where it all began, the millionaire who believed in her, and the power of a single moment to change a life. Her journey was a reminder to everyone that dreams are worth chasing, no matter how impossible they may seem. With passion, hard work, and a little help from others, anything is possible. Emily's life was a beautiful melody, sometimes soft, sometimes loud, sometimes slow, sometimes fast, but always full of heart. And as she looked toward the future, she knew her story was just beginning.